Hello. Checking that things are running. Just want to show you some beautiful nature while I'm recording this and sharing the thoughts I got with you. I want to tell you that there are two sentences that has followed me through the world, in this world, in my life, through the years. But it took a long time for me to discover these words. And when I discovered them, I wondered, why have I never heard these words spoken by the Christian church? I live in a country, it's called Denmark, in the Northern Europe region, right beside Sweden, right below Norway, above Germany and Poland. There you find Denmark. And we have, the state religion is Christianity. Yet I've never heard these guys from that religion say these words. These words that when I was 30 years old, not 10, not 20, but 30 years old, I discovered those and wondered why I've never heard them. I'm going to stop this for a while and I'm going to show you the words. And they were by a guy called Jesus, who this Christian religion, state religion, claim they believe in. Why have they never told us these words? Why have I never heard it like that? Because they do not represent God. That was my experience later. But these words followed me from that day. Oh, I ignored them. And then I tried to follow them. And then I ignored them. I pretended they were not there. And later I found out I didn't think like that at the time, but now I think, man, I sinned. I did wrong. I failed. So many times. But still I return to these words. This is the call. This is how you practice righteousness. Doing the right thing as opposed to doing the wrong thing. Doing the good things as opposed to doing evil. Why have they never told me that? That changed my way of looking at the world, way of thinking. So, in periods in my life, in positive periods of my life, I try to practice that. I try to live by that. I try to keep that in my mind anyway, and in my heart too, how to treat other people. Well, they didn't treat me back like that, but I didn't care. And then for big periods, I forgot about it, and certainly treated others as I wouldn't want them to treat me, and thought about others like that. and talked about others like that, and acted towards others about like that. Not, I did unto others as I would not that others should do unto me. Well, then I returned and tried again, because I felt miserable. I felt bad. My life didn't work. But as soon as I tried to do this, I felt that it started to work again. It started to make sense. So I practiced it again. And then I did not. And then I did it again. And then I did not. Then I did it again. And it has been like that since I was 30 years old. So many times. And now I really try to live by it. And that's not easy, folks. That's not easy. But when you succeed, oh man, you start to find out that this is actually where it starts, where you start to find meaning in life. This is the purpose of why we are here, the purpose of life. This is what we are here to learn. It's called righteousness. To do what's right, as opposed to do what's wrong, as I said. This is, if you practice this, as I show you here, from the real Jesus, which the Christian religion obviously do not represent. And this real Jesus who was sent by the real God, which the Christian religion does obviously not represent. But if you practice this, so I could say the real Jesus said, because then you will understand. Because Christianity has when you say Jesus and you say God, people automatically associate this with the Christian religion or some of the Christian variations of religions and their dogma. And this has nothing to do with that, nothing at all. This has nothing to do with any religion, any man-made, thought-up religion. Has nothing to do with that at all. No new religious group, and I don't represent anything but God's truth. Only the truth from God, who sent Jesus to tell us about it. That truth, the truth that Jesus told the disciples to do, which is the same as what we should do if we want to learn and fulfill the purpose of life. That truth, the real one, the truth which has been hidden from us all, sadly also through the religions. Many of the religions, I won't say they actually lie as such, but they carry on traditions which are lies, man-made lies. It's like it started true, and then somehow it became more the way people think for the sake of that, and than the way God thinks. The way it's more the will of people than the will of God. It became that, and then they carried on these traditions and mistakes, and it got worse and worse because people didn't want to live up to this. basic principle, this the call of the law of love, the will of God, which is not something that you have to do. Well, it does say obey, but obey because it's better for you. I'm going to show you the original gospel. I have found the original gospel, the complete original gospel. And in there, Jesus refers to God as the parent in singular form, and also calls God the father, mother of us all. Our parent, the father, mother of us all. And if you think of it like that, then obeying your parents, think of it like that, is not a bad thing. Because your parents, hopefully, they want the best for you. Even though they don't always know what is best, because they have been told something that may not be the best for them. And so on, because society try to direct you in a certain way and make you think a certain way. But that's another discussion for another day. But think of God as your parent, the father, mother, who wish you well, who wish that you succeed. And if you obey this parent, the creator of all, who is goodness itself, then you have no problem obeying, that the term obey is used. I've talked enough, and now I'm going to show you. This is the start of the original gospel. And you can find it all on my channel here. Go to the banner. I'll show you. There's not much on my side. I got the original gospel, and then I got it in English, and I got it in Danish. But if you click on this one, you will get to the original gospel. I've written something to start with, but not long down the line. You see here we got the start, and the one who edited it, and so on, from the original Aramaic and so on. But read this, pause and read this. I asked you to do that. Just this start is fantastic. And I assumed that you have done that. You read this by now and understand what fantastic start this is. And then, of course, all the rest of it comes along here. And as I said, you can click on it in the banner on the right side here. And then you get this. And then you can do like this. You see the symbols up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another, but that's not part of it. From left to right, is 1, 2, 3, number 3. This is my language, which means get it, but it's the same as download it. So if you click on this and you save the file, this is supposed to say save the file, and you say OK. Then you can save this gospel, the whole gospel here, which I have re-edited, so it's very easy to read. There were some old versions who was not complete, and it was hard reading it, and so on. So I made a new version of it, where the whole gospel here, from lection number 1 to lection number 96, which is how far it goes. You'll find 96 here, that's the last one. And then it says in the bottom, when I get to that, there you go. And you see this line, then it ends there. And it says here, entered the Holy Gospel, right? I recommend that you download this. And read it. And you will be surprised what it contains. This is fantastic. I said it was the original and complete gospel. It does not come from any religion, no sect, no nothing of the kind. This is the God's honest truth. And you will be surprised when you find out that such a thing, it is not mentioned very clearly everywhere, but it's kind of we assume that you know that reincarnation is a fact. You have lived before, will live again. Probably. That depends on when Jesus comes the second time around and say stop and judge us all and so on, and let's see. But that's a longer story. You need to read it all and then you'll find out. But reincarnation is a fact. Karma, what you do unto others will be done unto you. What you do unto others in this life will be done to you in the next. Also, the good things that you do unto others will be done to you in the next life. Remember that, not only the evil, but also the good. Many people focus on the evil, say, oh man, this is not good. Remember, if you start practicing righteousness, then you start practicing true love, spiritual love, and love covers an amount of sins. Don't forget that. God is just. And if you've got some things that you broken the sum and the other things that you will read about in this, then ask God for forgiveness. As you should ask those you have violated in some way. If you have sinned against your fellow man, then ask them for forgiveness, if it is possible. If not, maybe it's many years ago you realize you have sinned against someone, then ask God for forgiveness for that, because it was the rule of God you broken, right? So you can do that. If you are sincere, you will be forgiven, even for the worst of sins. Because it works like this, that if you, I try to find the words here, if you really understand how you sinned, the way you sinned, and why it was a sin, and why it was not right to do this to someone else, if you really understand that, and God knows that you know that, so much that you don't want to repeat this sin, then you will be forgiven, because then you learn the lesson of love. You learn not to be unjust, but to be just instead. You wish to do what's right. You wish to become a righteous soul now. You will be forgiven by God if you really are sincere in regretting your mistakes, regretting your sins, as it's called also. And that is the true grace of God. God does not forgive things in advance as a gift. The gift of grace is a lie that the religion has invented. That's not true. But God forgives anyone who sincerely regrets their mistakes, how they've broken the law of love, broken this principle, this call that you see here. That's how it works. Let's get back to it here. So I will encourage everyone who wants to become a righteous soul to read this original gospel. Some of the things you will recognize, some you certainly would not. Well, not. But those, there is only one way of proving to you that this is real, and that is if you read it and you feel it, then you know it's real, because you will feel the Spirit in the words, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of Jesus, which is one with the Spirit of God, and we are supposed to be one with the Spirit of Jesus. But that is, it's hard to understand if you have not read the gospel, the original gospel. That is, oh, I wish you could feel what I feel when I read this, because it's so beautiful. I cannot prove to any of you that Jesus is real and that God is real. I cannot prove that to you, but you personally can prove that to yourself by trying to become a righteous person, a righteous soul, you may say. Practice righteousness. This is practicing righteousness. This is the sum here. And you will later see the complete, the whole 12. There are 12 commandments in the real law of love. You've heard about the 10 commandments of Moses. Well, this is the 12 commandments after the Spirit. The one from Moses was after the flesh. But this is the complete one. It's a new law for us all, but still it's not new, it's old. It has always been the law. People just could not receive it at the time of Moses. It has been a build-up from the Spirit to prepare people for this, and the complete law, the full law of the Spirit, came with Jesus. And in there, you will be surprised that thou shalt not kill. Actually, it's not exactly expressed like that, but that was in the law of Moses. Thou shalt not kill actually includes the animals. And that's why Jesus encouraged everyone who wants to become a righteous soul, everyone who wants to follow Jesus and do as he told the disciples to do, and everyone else who wants to become a righteous soul, that thou shalt not kill include the animals. That is, you should not eat the flesh of the animals. You should not kill and eat, and you should not support it in any way. It is enough to eat plant food. That is allowed for you all the way. And there are so many kinds of plants and fruits and vegetables, herbs, grains, so many things. That is enough. You've been told by the medical industry, by doctors and so on, that you have to have some kind of animal oils or things from animals and so on to survive. That is a lie. That is an utter lie. You can live a plant alone. You have to variate your plant intake. You have to variate your diet of fruit, vegetables, grains, herbs, and so on. Everything that, all the plant food, variate it, of course, so you get all the vitamins and minerals and proteins and everything you need. If you eat fast food, you know, you can get vegan fast food, as they call it. Vegan is all plant food, right? And you can get some fast food of that too. That is not healthy because it does not contain enough of the other variants of vitamins and minerals and proteins and so on, and all you need. It does not contain that, so you need to do that too. Remember that. But that was a surprise to me when I read this. What? A vegan lifestyle? That is the condition of becoming a righteous soul, is understanding that the animals that we share the breath of life with are also sacred to God. We should not eat those. We should not try to kill those or eat any of those. That is not permitted. That is not right for those who seek to become a righteous soul, to fulfill the purpose of life. Big surprise for me. And now I'm practicing that too. I'm obedient because I want to fulfill the purpose of life. And as I said, you can prove to yourself that this is real by practicing righteousness. Read the gospel. Follow Jesus. Follow the teachings of Jesus. And the teaching of Jesus, that is why it's called a lection. A lection. Lections. A lesson. It's a lesson, a lection. And they all are. Do that, and you begin to understand what true justice is all about, true love and wisdom is all about. And then you will understand, because then you will feel the Spirit in it. And then you will prove to yourself that this is actually real. The truth that has been hidden from us all is now no longer hidden, because I just told you. This is it. And as I usually say, when I finish things, I say, may you and your loved ones have a beautiful day and a fruitful future. Read the gospel, feel the Spirit. The pure in heart will see it and understand. That's all I have to say for now. I'm saving this one.